Right now, somewhere in a database you've probably never looked at, there's a document with your name on it that decides whether you get approved for a home loan, what interest rate you pay on a car, and sometimes even whether you get hired for a job. Most people have never actually read it. Not really. They've glanced at a score, felt a flash of relief or panic, and closed the app. But that score is just a summary. The real story, the one lenders actually dig into, is buried inside the report itself. And today, we're going to open it up together, section by section, the way a professional credit analyst would. By the end of this video, you won't need anyone to translate your credit report for you. You'll be able to read it yourself, catch the mistakes that are quietly hurting you, and know exactly what to flag before you ever file a dispute. Let's get into it. If you've ever pulled your credit report and felt your eyes glaze over at rows of account numbers, strange codes, and dates that don't seem to line up, you are not alone. Credit reports are not written for consumers. They're written for lenders, and the language reflects that. Nobody hands you a glossary. That's a problem, because errors on credit reports are far more common than most people realize. A wrong balance, an account that isn't yours, a late payment that was actually paid on time, a collection that should have aged off years ago. These things show up constantly, and if you don't know how to read the report, you won't even notice they're there. This channel exists because of one core belief. When you understand your own financial paperwork, you make better decisions. You stop being intimidated by it. You stop guessing. And when something is wrong, you'll know it the moment you see it, instead of finding out the hard way when a loan officer tells you no. We're going to walk through every major section of your credit report: personal information, account history, negative items, public records, and the inquiry section, across the three major bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. We'll cover what each field actually means, what should make you stop and look twice, and the kinds of errors that are worth disputing. Think of this as the difference between owning a car and actually knowing what's under the hood. Why the three bureaus don't match. Before we open the report itself, you need to understand something that trips up almost everyone the first time they compare reports. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are three separate companies. They are not connected to each other, and they don't share information automatically. A lender or creditor might report to all three bureaus, or only one, or two out of three. That means your Equifax report might show an account that your TransUnion report doesn't even mention. It also means the formatting is different on each one. Experian tends to group accounts by type. TransUnion often uses a more linear list. Equifax has its own layout with slightly different terminology for the same concepts. This is exactly why pulling all three reports matters, and why comparing them side by side is one of the most underrated habits in personal finance. An error sitting quietly on one bureau's file can drag down your score with that bureau specifically, while the other two look completely clean. If you only check one report, you're only seeing a third of the picture. Now let's break down what's actually inside. Personal information. This is usually the first section you'll see, and most people skim right past it because it feels boring. Names, addresses, employers, who cares, right? Actually, this section deserves more attention than almost any other part of the report. Here's what it typically includes: your full legal name and any name variations on file, your current and previous addresses, your date of birth, your social security number, and sometimes a list of past employers pulled from old credit applications. What you're looking for here is consistency. Does every name listed actually belong to you? Sometimes you'll see a name that's close to yours but not quite right, a misspelling, a different middle initial, or, in more serious cases, a completely different name attached to your file. That second scenario is a red flag for what's called a mixed file, where another person's information has been merged into your credit report, usually because of a similar name, a shared address, or a data entry error somewhere upstream. Addresses matter too. If you see an address you've never lived at, especially one in a state you've never visited, that's worth investigating immediately. It can be an early sign of identity theft, or it can simply be a data mismatch from a previous resident of an address you now occupy. Either way, you want to know. The action item here is simple. Read every single line in this section slowly. Don't assume it's all correct just because it's mostly correct. A wrong middle name might seem harmless, but if it's attached to a mixed file, it could mean someone else's debt is quietly affecting your score. Account history. This is the heart of the report, and it's also the longest section. Every credit card, auto loan, mortgage, student loan, and line of credit you've ever opened, and many you've closed, lives here. For each account, you'll typically see the creditor's name, the account number, partially hidden for security, the date the account was opened, the type of account, your credit limit or original loan amount, your current balance, your payment status, and a payment history grid that usually goes back 24 months or more. Let's slow down on a few of these because this is where most of the real insight lives. Date opened matters more than people think. The length of your credit history is a meaningful factor in your score, and an incorrect open date, especially one that's later than the real date, can shrink the apparent age of your credit file and quietly cost you points. Payment status is the field that tells the story of how you've handled that account. You'll see terms like pays as agreed, 30 days past due, 60 days past due, 90 days past due, and so on. This is exactly where you want to slow down and cross-check your memory against what's listed. If you know for a fact you paid an account on time every single month, but the report shows a 30-day late mark, that is a serious error worth disputing. The payment history grid is a month-by-month visual record, usually using letters or colors to indicate on-time payments versus late ones. This is one of the most valuable parts of the entire report because it lets you see patterns at a glance. One late payment from 3 years ago that you've since cleaned up looks very different from a recent string of missed payments. Lenders read this grid carefully, and so should you. Balance and credit limit together determine your credit utilization, which is one of the biggest score factors there is. If a closed account is still showing a balance, or if a credit limit is reported as 0 when it shouldn't be, that's going to distort your utilization ratio and drag your score down for no real reason. What should you flag in this section? Accounts you don't recognize at all, balances that don't match what you know you owe, credit limits that seem too low or missing entirely, late payments on accounts you're certain you paid on time, closed accounts still showing as open, or open accounts incorrectly marked as closed. Any of these is worth writing down before you move to the next section. Inquiries. The final section is usually the shortest, but it still matters. This is the list of everyone who has requested access to your credit file. There are 2 types of inquiries. Hard inquiries happen when you apply for new credit, a credit card, a loan, a lease, and they can have a small temporary effect on your score. Soft inquiries happen when you check your own credit or when a company checks it for promotional or background purposes, and these never affect your score at all. What to flag here is straightforward. Any hard inquiry from a company you don't recognize or for a type of credit you never applied for. This is one of the clearest early warning signs of identity theft, because it means someone used your information to attempt to open new credit in your name. If you see an inquiry you can't account for, that's worth investigating right away, separate from any other dispute you might be planning. Putting it together, what to actually do with all this? Now that you know what every section means, here's the part that turns information into action. Start by pulling reports from all 3 bureaus, not just one. Go section by section, slowly, the same way we just walked through it. Keep a simple list as you go. Account name, the issue you noticed, and which bureau it appeared on. Don't rely on memory. Write it down as you find it. Separate what you find into 2 categories: genuine errors, wrong balances, accounts that aren't yours, incorrect dates, duplicate listings. Belong in one pile. Items that are accurate but simply unpleasant to look at, like a late payment you know you actually made, belong in another. Disputing accurate information rarely works and can waste time you could spend on the errors that actually have a real chance of correction. This is also the point where many people realize that reading the report is only half the job. Knowing what's wrong is valuable, but building a dispute that's documented properly, sent to the right bureau, framed with the right legal language, and followed through to resolution is its own skill. One that takes real experience to do well and to do right the first time. Here's the truth. Your credit report is one of the most consequential documents in your financial life, and most people go their entire lives never actually reading it. You just did more in the last few minutes than most people do in years. But literacy is the starting point, not the finish line. If you went through your own report while watching this and found something that doesn't look right, a balance that's off, an account you don't recognize, a late payment that shouldn't be there, a public record with the wrong date, don't sit on it. That's exactly the kind of thing that, left alone, keeps quietly costing you money every single month in higher interest rates and declined applications. This is where having an experienced guide makes the difference between catching an error and actually getting it fixed. That's the work we do every day at 𝐲𝐻consultant.com. Whether it's a late payment, a collection, an inquiry you don't recognize, our team knows how to build a dispute that holds up and gets results. If this video helped you make sense of your report, go pull your 3 bureau reports today and put what you just learned to use. And if you find something that needs a professional hand to resolve, reach out to 𝐲𝐻consultant.com and let's unlock what your credit profile is actually capable of. 𝐲𝐻consultant.com is here whenever you're ready to take the next step. Wise Consulting Enterprise. We could help you in such.